So I started this YouTube channel, right? And I'm trying to post a lot. I'm trying to post about things that people want to know the answers to that maybe I can help with. And one of the things that I see a lot online, and I'm honestly quite surprised, is people wanting to know how to come up with ideas for their stories, or how to come up with good ideas or original ideas. It's like that famous question, you see the authors kind of hate answering it, don't they? Like, how do you come up with your ideas? It's like one of the infamous bad questions that you can ask someone. But for me, it's not something it's something I've never struggled with. I've always had more ideas than I know what to do with. And B, I don't mind answering that question. I feel like I have a really good process. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to share this very, very simple 4-step process to how basically you'll have all the story ideas that you'll ever need. So let's get into it. Number one is read widely. If you trawl through the internet looking for writing advice, or if you read any of the numerous books about writing, they won't agree on much, but they'll agree on this. Reading is the cornerstone of writing. The more you read, the better you'll write. It's really as simple as that. The more you will understand the kind of deep inner workings of fiction, the more you'll become attuned to the cadence and the rhythm of the words, the better you'll be. When you read widely, you expose yourself to different ideas, different perspectives, different techniques, and this kind of cross-pollination is where the real magic happens. So make sure to mix it up. Read science fiction, read memoirs, read investigative journalism, read ancient myths, read it all, because you just never quite know what it is that's going to spark something. A few years ago, I saw this quote from Ray Bradbury, who says he reads one essay, one short story, and one poem every day. This works really well for me, and it's manageable. I do it before I go to bed, and it's been really, really helpful in helping me find things that I wouldn't have found otherwise. Your mileage may vary, so find out what works for you, but it's not really important how you do it. You just find a routine and stick to it. Number two is just find some way of capturing your ideas. Stephen King famously said that keeping a writer's notebook is the best way to immortalize bad ideas. And that's a good soundbite, and I love Stephen King, but I completely disagree. Ideas aren't magic. There's no special idea that's going to make you millions. If you put a great idea in the hands of a bad writer, it's about as useless as a chocolate teapot. And conversely, if you take whatever a bad idea is and give it to one of the world's greatest writers, they're going to make a great story. So you need a way of capturing these sparks of inspiration when they strike. There are many different ways to do this, but here's what works for me. Whenever I'm reading or if I'm out and about, I keep a notebook with me and I jot the ideas down as they come. Sometimes it's just a little spark, fragment, or image, and sometimes it's more fully formed. Doesn't matter, I just make sure I scribble it down, close the book, it's out of my head, I don't have to think about it again. And then, once a week, usually of a Sunday evening, I take that book, I transfer them all into Notion, and sometimes I'll categorize them by, what genre maybe they'll be, or what form they'll take, whether they'll be a short story or a poem, or maybe it's a novel idea or something like that. I just categorize them, I put them in Notion. And then this list is great because it means whenever I'm in front of the blank page, I can just scroll through that list, and anything that still kind of lights something up within me, I can start to work on it. And that brings me to the third thing I do, which is to flesh out the ideas. So not every idea is going to be ready to go the moment that you think of it. So sit on it for a while, let it marinate, come back to it in a few weeks and see if it still has the same appeal. Poke it, prod it, put some pressure on it and see which way it bends. Combine it with other fragments of ideas and see if that helps formulate something new. I'm actually currently working on a story that is a combination of two different ideas that I had months apart, that I just saw them both in my Notion list, and neither of them I could really get to work on their own, but when I brought them together, all of a sudden the story started to click and I was away. Treat your ideas as these kind of malleable, creative, fun building blocks and play with them. Really play with them. Look at them with the sort of curiosity and energy of a child. I think if you do that and you approach it that way, you'll be really surprised at how quickly things start to happen. I promise you, if you do this, you will have more ideas than you know what to do with, which brings me nicely onto number 4, which is actually use your ideas. Here's the funny thing about creativity. It feeds itself. The more you use it, the more you'll have. And so the more you practice trying to translate ideas into actual things, the more ideas will come. It's really just about getting into the rhythm of the thing, being intentional and consistent in your reading, and then being diligent in the process of recording your ideas and actually working on them. And even if your ideas don't feel like I said before, fully fledged, fully formed, just the simple act of working on them will just help spark new things. New pathways that you never even considered before will appear. So just trust the process and don't neglect the actual writing part. I only say this because I've been guilty of this. So in summary, read widely, capture ideas, even the small ones, keep them organized in some way, let your ideas breathe, flesh them out, and then write. That is how you generate more ideas than you will ever need and ever be able to write. Let me know, do you do something similar? Do you have your own methods? I'd love to know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.